Take one.
So how I got into short sales, my business is mainly 50% real estate transactions and 50% estate planning. I litigated for a year and a half down in St. Clair County, and I absolutely despised it. So I came up here and I was going to be transactional. There are a few other attorneys in town that do short sales. One of them kind of stepped off the path, got a new job going. I thought, I could probably do that. So I thought, well, this will be fun. I'll give it a try. And so that's how I got into short sales. Fun, not on a daily basis, but I have met some interesting people, and it's definitely not ordinary. There is no typical short sale, if you will. Not all of them go the same. It's not like a typical real estate closing where you have a buyer and a seller and you sign a contract and 45, 60 days later you have closing and everybody's happy sometimes. But this is more like you sign a contract and then you wait for a third party to say that it's okay for you to go ahead and sell it. And so I can't remember who said you had to have patience, but you've definitely got to have sellers and buyers that have patience and who also have no problem with giving paperwork. Because I, as the attorney for the short sale, will ask you for more paperwork than you probably ever thought was available out there. Most banks now are requiring 2 years of taxes, the most recent 2 months of pay stubs, the most recent 2 months of bank account statements, as well as every bank has its own individual forms that they want you to sign recognizing the short sale. There is a program that some of the banks are utilizing called Equator. Anybody familiar with Equator? Max is loving Equator, I can tell. So the big banks, basically Chase and Bank of America are the ones that Wells Fargo and Bank of America, you can actually initiate a short sale on Equator. The other banks you cannot initiate there, you have to initiate a different way. Chase, you have to fax them everything I just said. So I think the last time I faxed something to Chase at 10 pages per fax, I think it took me 7 faxes, so 70 pages to get it all through. And then they call you and tell you you've been accepted, and they put you on Equator, and then you have to upload everything again. So it's total redundancy. And it's not just Chase, every bank is redundant. If you give them something once, you want to save it because you're going to have to give it to them again. So I work short sales 2 ways. Sometimes I'm the point person and I just do everything. I'm on Equator and I do all that. And some of the realtors I work with are on Equator and I just help when needed because you need a HUD. I actually had one client that said, I don't need you, I can do the HUD myself. And I said, okay, good luck with that. Call me when it doesn't work out. And sure enough, about a week later, they're like, I really don't know what a HUD is, I need some help. And I thought, well, yeah, you do. Some local banks are changing drastically the way they've done things, specifically Busey. If it is a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac loan, they will not deal with anyone except the homeowner, the person on the loan. They will not deal with third parties, whether it be an attorney or a third-party sales agent that deals in short sales. They won't talk to anybody except the homeowner. And I have one of those right now with Brenda. And you're just going to have to hold your client's hands a little bit tighter and drag them along to keep everything going, because Busey's not going to call you like I would and say, okay, I need your 2012 taxes. Okay, I need to update your bank statements because it's been a month, so I need your new bank statements. They're not. I actually spoke with the gentleman over there in charge of their short sales, and he's like, we'll work with them, but we're not going to hold their hands. So as realtors, you get another layer added to your cake that you get to deal with. There are more short sales now, especially in this area, I've noticed, because of people are just upside down. I have a short sale right now where the house is being sold for $45,000. I've got a primary mortgage that's $48,000, a secondary mortgage that's $24,000, and a judgment that's $2,000. So you've got the people out there that are upside down and don't even know it. That one was a surprise. I used to wait to order title work until I knew, that we were getting pretty close, so that I didn't have to pay out of pocket for the title work. And that one actually was the one that I just explained, was one that I didn't order title work until we got ready. It was probably about 2 weeks from closing, and I ordered title work, and I'm like, you have a second mortgage? No, we don't. yeah, you really do. It's on the title work. I need some help here. No, we don't have one. And I'm like, well, you really do. And it just so happened it was with City Financial out of here in Champaign, which isn't there anymore. It's One Main now. And it took me 3 months just to track down where this was, because the banks aren't sending people anything. So these people had never made a payment on this secondary mortgage, and no one had ever sent them a letter saying, you haven't paid us anything. Now I want to do a short sale, and they're like, you owe me $24,000. And that's where you get to play negotiator, because there's no way, especially when the first is rural development. Rural development's not going to give them hardly anything. So you want to make sure that your clients actually know what they have on their house, because a lot of times they don't.
They had a rural development first and then the second, which means they had no equity to begin with.
Correct.
When they bought the house.
That's right.
Jeez.
So unfortunately, we're cleaning up problems that occurred a while back with people that never should have been given these extra loans, or loans. I had one, Bank of America gave them a loan for more than what the house was valued at.
At the time.
At the time, yeah. Which means it was really more than what it was valued at now. It was up in Cissna Park. It was a small house. It's not a big town, so it's just not fun. I do have people ask me, we're sorry we're nagging you, but what's going on? No, don't feel bad nagging me. I'm probably going to give you the same answer every time you do. I'm waiting for the negotiator, or the bank hasn't gotten back to me, or they're stonewalling me. But feel free to go ahead, because that's what at least I am, and attorneys that like me, that's what we're there for, is to help. And so you don't have a direct pipeline to the bank, so you have to call that people. But what you do need to tell your clients is to be ready for me to pester them too, because this doesn't get done in 30 days. And so again, I'm going to be calling, asking for updated pay stubs and updated bank statements, and clients that have more than one bank account, I'm going to need updated for all of them, because they want to make sure, with all the fraud that's going on, that you really are who you say you are, and that you really have a problem. Of note is the Federal Debt and Mortgage Relief Act, which is expiring at the end of this year. Matt, have you heard anything? I haven't heard anything about it being renewed yet. I know we still have, in the government's eyes, months and months, but it ends on December 31st. And what that is when you sell a house on short sale, your client will probably get a 1099 for the deficiency. So unlike foreclosure, they're not going to enter a judgment against you and come after you, but they are going to send you a 1099. So if the house sells for $100,000 and you owed $150,000, you'll get a 1099 for the $50,000, which is supposed to be added to your income. Up through the end of this year, because of the act that's out there, as long as it's your primary residence, you don't have to count that as income. So there is a special one out there, and it starts with a Q, and I can't remember it, but if anybody wants to know, let me know, that you can use for rental income. And you don't get to write off the entire income, but you do get to write off part of it. So. And
the last time that was set to expire, it got renewed kind of at the last minute.
The very last minute.
So the takeaway for the realtors is there's a good chance that your clients won't get slapped with a taxable event from their deficiency being waived. But we can't tell them that until that actually happens. So anybody starting a short sale today has to be made aware that it is possible that they will incur tax liability for the money they don't ever see.
Right. Now hopefully they will renew it. Like Matt said, they waited until the absolute last hour, just like they do with most things, to renew it, because it actually expired December 31st of last year. So that is a brief overview.
So tell me, one of the differences between you and like one of the third-party short sale outfits is compensation.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
I have a sliding scale. My lowest for a short sale is $800. The highest that I've gone is $1,200. I don't base it on a percentage. I don't have a flat fee, and I don't take it out of your pocket. I negotiate it into the short sale itself.
Do you end up with your compensation beaten up by the lenders?
So far, no.
Okay.
I have had to drop one that was $1,200 down to $900. It was one that I did with Brenda, and it just happened I had raised it to $1,200 because it was the third time we had tried to do it.
I see.
And they're like, no, last time you only wanted $900, so you only get $900. I'm like, fine, whatever. So far I've been paid. But yeah, I don't go outside and ask for anything. I am contemplating now asking for payment for the title work, because it's not fair for me to have to pocket that just to make sure that you know what you have on your house.
So when you take on a new client, do you have them come in and meet with you, or do you have a packet with instructions you send to them, or what does that look like?
It's a case-by-case basis. That's kind of the fun thing about short sales is I gauge my client or the realtor that I'm speaking to. I did one last week via conference call. But I do have forms that need to be filled out. The first thing you need is third-party authorization because the bank's not going to talk to anyone without that third-party authorization. And lucky for us, depending on who your bank is, they have different authorizations. I used to have a generic authorization, and no, it doesn't work now. So that's the first thing we start with, and then I tell them that they need to start gathering all this information that they're going to need. But I do sit down with people. I've gone to realtors' offices and sat down with people and explained to them. Because some people ask me, well, fine, why can't I just give the house back? I'm like, well, you can. That's fine. You can do a deed in lieu and foreclosure. And I can help you do that too, but it's better this way because then you don't ever have to worry about anybody coming back after you or signing a note for the deficiency or anything like that. So I just take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Any other questions? The interesting thing is, like I said, it really is a case-by-case basis. I'm looking here, and in the first 3 rows, I have 3 realtors that I'm working short sales with, and they are all night and day next from the other one. Phyllis has one that has been going on for a year. What you need to make sure is, if you do wind up in a short sale, make sure your attorney knows what they're doing, and if they don't, make sure that they find help, which is what Phyllis did, and I love Jean to death. So that's one. Tanya and I have one going where it's actually a local lender. And you think they're easier, but they're not because it's not actually the local lender because they sold it on the secondary market, so everything's got to go to the investor. And nobody knows who the investor is. They're like, on Charlie Brown where the teacher's up there, wah, wah, wah. Yeah, that's the investor. You have no idea where they are or what they're saying or when they'll come back to you, but that's what you've got going on. And then Brenda and I, like I said, had one that went through 3 different times, so. One thing I can tell you is I have a lot of clients ask me, well, what if I'm already in foreclosure? It's fine. We can still do a short sale because if you think of it like you're building here, you've got, Remax here and you've got Midland over there, and you guys talk to each other occasionally, but you don't know what's going on in every office every day. That's how short sales and foreclosures are. They don't talk to each other. They have no clue that you're even in foreclosure, and foreclosure has no idea that you're doing a short sale. I have postponed sheriff's sales so that we can finish a short sale, and then the foreclosure is dismissed. So foreclosure is not really a problem unless you call me 5 days before your sheriff's sale. Then it's a problem because the banks usually want at least 10 days to extend it. So, yeah.
What, if anything, are you noticing that's changed just very recently? Like, what would be new since an update like this a year ago?
DocuSign. Last time I spoke to everybody, DocuSign was a big no-no. Now it's a big no-no still on the contracts, but Bank of America has a form that allows everybody to sign electronically. And so I haven't seen it with the other lenders yet, but Bank of America is, and I know with as many documents that we have to sign, that DocuSign was easier. So that's one big change. The other big change, like I said, would be not working with any third parties at all. But you still want to make sure you have somebody in your corner that knows what you're doing. Those would be the 2 biggest changes.
So DocuSign is acceptable now?
For Bank of America,
Right, the other ones don't.
but the other ones don't. And you still have to what I call wet sign the document that says that it's okay to DocuSign. Once you have that signed, then you can DocuSign everything.
Any other
Thank you
questions?
very much.
Thanks, Tina.